And that's why I have to talk with your husband, Mrs. Karr.
Well, he's home now.
Hi, darling.
Hi, sweetheart. We have a visitor.
Oh.
This is Jim Diedrichson.
Oh, yes, I've heard your name. Hello, Mr. Diedrichson.
Mr. Karr, I'm sorry to bother you at home, sir, but when I called your office, they said that you'd left for the day.
Well, if you called my office, I assume it's a matter for the district attorney.
I believe so. I wasn't sure. I was thinking about going to the police.
He thought that you might be more understanding of the problem, Mike, since you know many of the people involved.
Oh? Why don't you sit down and tell me about it?
Thank you, sir.
Would you like a drink?
Yes, some mineral water, please.
All right, Mr. Diedrichson. Just who are these people I know so well?
Well, one of them's Raven Whitney.
Oh, God, these men don't look like they're trustable. What am I gonna do?
Don't worry about it. I give you my word. See, the service we provide here is strictly confidential. We only ask 3 questions around here. Where you want to go, number 1. 2, when you want to leave. 3, you got the money with you.
That is highway robbery.
Nobody's twisting your arm, sweetheart. You can always cancel your trip.
All right. I'll pay the money, but only when I get the papers and I'm ready to leave.
No, it don't work that way. This is strictly cash. Advance.
I don't have $50,000
Wait a
with
minute. You're going overseas for good. You gotta have money to take with you to live on. And don't give me one of these phony letters of credit, because people who leave the States like you are never do have them.
All right, I'll pay you the cash, but it's gonna take a while.
Well, the sooner you get it, Mrs. Whitney, the sooner you're gonna be on that boat.
Burn a hole in that thing.
Oh, honey, I didn't hear you come in. I'm sorry. I was just so preoccupied with this.
I know Jody's mesmerized by that. You caught the disease?
No, I was just trying to figure something out, something Nancy noticed when she was here.
What's that?
Well, we were looking at this cameo and comparing it to the necklace that Jody bought, and all of a sudden we discovered some letters on it.
Really? Let me see.
Well, you can't see it with the naked eye.
You're right. I can't make out a thing.
Here, use this.
Yeah.
It seems to be the word eridu, E-R-I-D-U.
What language is that?
I have no idea. It could be the name of the artist, but Nancy wasn't familiar with anything like that either.
It's part of a family motto, you know, like E pluribus eridu. Not funny, huh? Hey. Well, come on. It's nothing to look so worried about. What are you doing?
No, I wasn't thinking about the painting. It's something that I found out this afternoon. Miles, Mrs. Ingersoil has died.
You kidding? When'd you find that out?
Well, this afternoon I tried to call her up to find out when she was planning on visiting her daughter in Monticello so that we could see her. And I got the landlady on the phone and she told me that news.
I guess that teaches me to make quick diagnoses, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, I just thought she looked in perfect health, despite all those complaints she made. I just had her pegged as a hypochondriac. I guess I was wrong.
Oh, no, you weren't wrong. It was an accident.
What kind of an accident?
Well, apparently she fell down the stairs in front of her very door. God. Oh, I didn't think I was going to have to hear any more death news this week.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Come on.
I'm sorry. Just in a morbid mood. Did you see Derek today?
No, talked to him on the phone. He half promised to come by tonight for a drink.
Oh, dear, I'll have to miss him. I have to go by the studio.
Well, it's probably just as well. He didn't sound like he was up to seeing more than one person at a time.
I suppose you're right.
Just got an idea.
What?
About the word eridu. Why don't we look it up in the encyclopedia?
Oh, it won't be there.
Oh, well, it might be. You never know. Seek and ye shall find. It's one of my mottos. Eric the Red. Eridu. Here it is.
You're kidding me.
Eridu.
What does it say?
Ancient Sumerian city. Now with the modern name of Abu Sharain. South of the city of Ur. Built on sand dunes. Can't be much of it left. Look at this. This is interesting.
What?
Apparently it's one of the places that tradition has fixed as being the site of the Garden of Eden.
So, you want to wait for Jody here, huh?
The only thing is, she's liable to be another hour or more. She's rehearsing something down at the studio.
Well, as long as you're not worried about starving to death.
I'm worried about taking up table space.
Everybody does that around here. Especially your friend Hector Wilson. I think he's using my place as an answering service.
You're too friendly, Sid.
Yeah, well, I just wish I understood people more. Like Jim Diedrichson, for instance.
What about him?
Well, he's been acting kind of strange lately, too, and very, very worried.
Well, things haven't been going too well for Jim and the company.
Yeah, I know. He told me he was going to be moving out of the studio. He said the landlord gave him a couple of days' grace to clear the place out. Oh, by the way, he gave me a key in case any of you guys left some stuff stored there.
Oh, I haven't. I've got nothing left there except memories.
Yeah, I know. Excuse me a minute. I got a new customer. Good evening.
Hi.
Would you like a table for one?
Yes, thanks. Just 1 minute. Mr. Wiley, isn't it?
Oh, hi.
Chad Sutherland.
Yes, I remember. I don't believe I've seen you here before.
First time. In fact, it was Jody who mentioned Sid's Tavern to me.
Well, that's Sid standing right behind you.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad to hear somebody's recommending my place.
She spoke of it highly. Would you mind if I joined you?
Yeah, sure.
Can I get you something?
Some kind of aperitif? A beer. I'll have a beer, thanks.
You got one coming up.
I don't mean to intrude if you're waiting for someone.
Oh, no, not for another hour or so.
Could I buy you dinner, maybe? I'd appreciate the company.
No, I'll wait to have it with Jody when she gets here. I hear you paint.
That's right. And not just one of those Sunday painters either. I've got to do it full-time or not at all.
I suppose painters make some money, depending on what they paint.
I'm not good at houses. I may not be good on canvas either. I've never actually sold a painting.
Oh, you did give one away.
I figured that would be a good way to get my work seen, hanging in a penthouse.
Where will you be working?
That's my biggest problem right now. Finding a studio I can afford. If I had one, I'd be there right now.
Right now, huh? I just heard of a vacant studio.
You're kidding.
No, it's a half a block from here. In fact, I used to rent it as a dance studio, and then it was transformed into a drama studio.
What kind of light does it have?
Northern, if you wash the windows.
That sounds great. How can I get to see it?
Here you go.
Thanks.
One beer.
You can see the place right now if you'd like to. Sid's got a key to it, don't you, Sid?
Yeah. Got one right here.
Drink.
Oh, damn.
Better get it now. You need it.
I do.
Waiter.
I just can't help feeling funny about this. Being seen with you. in public.
Hey, I told you I'd wear a bag over my head.
You know what I mean. All those stories in the paper about you and me. I mean, what I said about you beating up that guy, trying to bribe me. And here we are, acting like a couple of...
Like a couple of what? Dinner companions? What's wrong with that?
It's just funny, that's all. Although Eddie wouldn't think it was funny at all.
No, I don't think Eddie would think it was too funny.
Boy, you know, if he were to walk in here...
Don't worry about it. Eddie will never find this place. He can't even pronounce the name of this restaurant.
Excuse me, can I get you something from the bar?
Yes, quickly. I'd like a really big banana daiquiri. Do you have fresh bananas?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Oh, I'd like that.
And you, sir?
I'll have a vodka martini, please.
One big banana daiquiri and one vodka martini.
Look, Poppy, in case Eddie does find out that you came out with me tonight, I think maybe you better tell him that you did it for his sake. I mean, say it was some kind of counter-spy work.
I wish I hadn't gotten mixed up in this whole thing.
So do I. You know, I had a very different kind of relationship and vision for us when I first saw you.
You weren't interested in me because you wanted a counter-spy?
Oh, of course not. Well, not exactly.
It's true, isn't it? You were trying to get some dirt on Eddie, and you thought that I could help you dig it up. Am I right?
No, look, I like my work, but I don't allow it to interfere with my private life. You weren't so damned attractive.
But that's why you spent the whole dinner talking about Eddie, about what he did and who his friends were. Look, I'm no Alvin Einstein, but even I could figure out, well, I knew that you were pumping me.
Okay, you're right, I was. I just couldn't resist the temptation.
So, you complain about me not treating you right, and how about yourself, detective?
All right, I admit it. Look, I did have an ulterior motive in asking you out, but after that evening, well, I enjoyed it for a completely different reason. I liked you. Thank you.
You still like me, even though I did what I did?
Yes. And what I'd really like to be able to do now is to get us right back where we were before this whole thing started. Now, is that too much to ask?
I'm not so sure, to tell you the truth. I mean, a girl doesn't like to be liked for the wrong reason. Do you know what I mean?
Well, sure I do. The same thing is true with a guy. How do I know that Eddie didn't tell you that it was all right to come out to dinner with me?
Are you nuts?
No. I mean, maybe he wanted you to go out with me so he could get some kind of a scoop on me.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
Yeah, well, if you can be suspicious of me, I can be suspicious of you.
Well, you're a cop, and cops are very nosy. Eddie told me what you did about pretending to be his friend.
Poppy, that was an assignment.
Well, was that nice, using friendship to hurt a guy?
Hey, was it nice of Eddie to run over his partner with his car?
Eddie said that he never did such a thing, but they didn't even indict him for it.
Well, only half of that statement is true, Poppy.
Well, what about that tape recorder that you had on you when you and Eddie went out to dinner?
Hey, I'm glad I had that tape recorder. It saved my life when he stabbed me in the ribs.
For all I know, you could be wearing a tape recorder right now and taking down every single thing I say.
Well, maybe I am. There's only one way to be sure.
Huh?
After dinner, you could take me to your place and search me.
Well, here it is. Now, this is really something. Oh, it's fabulous. It's just what I've always wanted. Well, it's not very elegant. The roof leaks all the time. There's not enough heat in the winter, and it's too hot in the summer. Yeah, but look at those windows and all this space. Too much, really. Just perfect if you work on large canvases. I really like it, Gavin, but it's more space than I need and probably more money than I can afford. Well, maybe you can split the rent. Who with? As far as I know, Jim didn't want to give up the studio. It's out of necessity. Do you think he'd be interested? It's hard to tell. I know he's given up his company. Maybe he wants to go back to teaching. When did he hold his classes? At night. Most of his students had day jobs. But that's perfect because the only time I paint is in the morning. Well, as much as I know about Jim, he rarely gets out of bed before 10. Sounds like we could really work something out. I'm not guaranteeing anything, you know. How can I get in touch with this guy? Well,
I don't know what the guy's up to right now, but I know he hangs out at Sid's a lot. I can always give him your number.
Great. Here's my card.
Your card?
My father gave those to me. He's sort of continental.
Uh-huh. He's abroad right now, isn't that what you said?
Actually, he lives abroad. But, this is my home now. I hope it is anyway. Has Jody seen this place?
I swear to you, sir, this is supposed to be nothing more than a practical joke, one of those great memoirs.
Well, very often a practical joke is just an excuse to be cruel.
And this one seems unusually cruel. To make Raven believe that she actually committed a murder?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it seemed much more amusing at the time.
Are you the one who thought it up?
No. I can't take credit for being the author. But I have to share the responsibility.
I'm afraid you'll have to, especially since this was your drama group.
I don't see how you could let it go so far. All of you. And Mike, I just don't know why Cliff allowed himself to get involved.
Mrs. Karr, please try to see it the way we saw it. As a harmless situation to prove a lesson to Raven Whitney.
But what gave you the right to do that?
We didn't have the right. But she spoiled everything. She took away our theater just because Gavin Wiley was in the group.
Okay, so your motive was revenge then?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was. That's how I got Cliff involved in it.
Well, I know what Raven did to Cliff. She took away his most important client.
Yeah, but Calvin, what reason would he have? He wasn't a member of the acting group. Or was he?
No. No, it was personal with Calvin. I don't know the whole story, but we talked him into it because we showed him it was going to be harmless.
So what you hoped to prove to Raven was that she could be framed in the same way that Gavin was in the Gunther Wagner killing, correct?
Yes, that's what most of us assumed.
Meaning there was a hidden purpose. Smiley Wilson's purpose.
Yes, sir. And as soon as I realized what his purpose was, I knew I had to clean this thing up, and fast.
So you really think that Raven is in danger now?
Yes, I do. I don't want this phony murder to turn into a real one.
In that case, we had better find her.
Wild travel. Sal, how you been? You've been gone for 2 hours. And where's the Sloan?
Again. All right?
Hey, she didn't come right back here. She stopped at a coffee shop to get a sandwich. Hell, she had 2 sandwiches and dessert. Boy, what an appetite that one's got.
I don't care about her appetite. What about her money? That's what I called about. Before she left the hotel, she goes down to the desk and she leaves an envelope in the hotel safe. This must be the big jackpot.
That's what I thought. But what the hell are we gonna do about it?
Get here as fast as you can. We may have to add a little pressure here.
Raven thinks that she's still indicted for murder, and she thinks that she's jumped bail.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
If only we could reach her and let her know.
That's going to be difficult, because if a person thinks they're a fugitive, they'll act like one. She'll be careful about who she speaks to, or she probably won't even use her real name.
Yes, sir. That's the problem.
Smiley Wilson. Now, what about him?
Well, I've heard from him recently, and I don't think he knows where she is either. He didn't know he was talking to me, though.
Who do you think you were?
Hector, his brother. In fact, it's one of the first times Smiley's been fooled in this whole scam. Now, I take that back. Raven must have fooled him a number of times in order to get away.
Well, if she still thinks she's a fugitive, she still might try to get out of the country.
I'm more concerned about her health. With Smiley on her trail, she's carrying a lot of cash.
I'm afraid this can't stop here, Jim. I told you, I couldn't promise you either confidentiality or immunity.
Yes, sir. I know.
In fact, our next step is with the police.
No, I don't know from that. Yeah. Now, look, I can't talk to you now. You sure took your time getting here, Mrs. Whitney.
Well, I had to eat and rest. I'm a little exhausted.
Oh, I understand, honey, but just imagine tomorrow you'll be relaxing in a deck chair, drinking pina coladas and watching the waves.
All right, there's your money, $50,000.
Well, I'm sorry, honey, but it's not enough.
What?
You It took so long getting here, the price went up again.
You are crazy! First you said $25,000, then you said $50,000. Now that's not enough?
I'm going to give you the final price, Mrs. Whitney. What we want is the envelope that you put in your hotel safe.
Forget it. I decided I don't want to do business with you.
I don't see where you have a hell of a lot of choice.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll just see about that.
What's your hurry, lady?
See, we'll go to the hotel together. You can pick up the envelope. And by tomorrow morning, you'll be on the boat. You'll be on your way to Palm Tree Land and sunny skies.
And no cops.
No.
No, you're not getting my drift, Mrs. Whitney. There's no such thing as no. You gotta do it. Because if you don't, you'll be floating to South America. But I guarantee you, you're not going to be in a boat.